Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
We're here. We're live. The audio is working. The video is videoing.
So proud.
Oh, yeah. So,
We
but
did it.
right. So this is a question for everyone. So comments, Twitter, wherever it is that you're listening, leave us a comment. What is your preferred snack? Whales was brought up, Cheez-Its was brought up, and goldfish were brought up. Or cheddar bunnies. Sometimes
Cheddar bunnies? Where do you get those?
I think he's just making things up now. I'm gonna Google.
they're Trader Joe's.
Oh.
I've never seen these at Trader Joe's, but I go to Trader Joe's quite a lot.
They're Annie's organic cheddar bunnies is what here.
Oh.
I will send the link.
They look
I
like
found them,
like
yeah.
something, all right.
They're basically just goldfish, but in the shape of bunnies instead of goldfish.
I mean, that's all those are.
That's pretty much all we've named.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
cheese adjacent snacks.
Yeah,
This episode so far is not for the lactose intolerant.
which is me.
Yes, we get the lactose intolerant, and then what? AJ can't have protein, right?
Yep.
We got all the dietary issues on this team.
Oh yeah. We go to those events and the catering. I'm like, ooh, well, AJ and I can have like half of that, but we can have fruit snacks.
It's like
Oh my
AJ, AJ, you can take the top bun off that sandwich, and maybe a handful of granola.
And then all of the fruit snacks.
All the fruit snacks. Which, by the way, Mott's superior. The best fruit snack. Mott's.
Yep, I agree. But hey, free fruit snacks are fruit snacks for me. So
You're gonna say that like Scooby Doo fruit snacks don't exist?
Okay, I mean,
whoa, deep cut.
that's it's you can't buy.
I think
the
it's just like an upper
Costco
echelon.
bulk- It's like you can buy those, but they come in like the boxes of like 20. But you can go to like Costco and get like the 128 box of Mott's, and it's like I never need to go to the store again. It's great.
Yeah, these will last a week. Oh man, but we got quite a few things to talk about today. You guys ready to jump in?
Let's
Yes,
do
sir.
it.
All right. Well, hello, listeners. Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube in the top left. We got Red in the top right, and we got Quilly down in the bottom middle. Welcome. How are you guys doing today?
Cold, very very cold.
Yeah,
I'm in a hoodie and sweats, and I'm still cold.
me too.
Feel that. I went out to get food, and I actually, those comfy things, like the oversized blanket sweatshirts.
Yep.
I wore that to get food because it's just so cold out.
Yeah,
Fair.
we got that. What are they? The Arctic vortex or whatever they're calling it.
Oh yeah, the like crazy like snowstorm coming up through the south too. There's like I saw a picture yesterday. It was like there's snow in Louisiana.
Yeah, the LSU stadium is
Yeah, the LSU
absolutely
stadium.
covered.
Yeah,
It's like what?
Iatomic, friend of been on the show before, MLE. He's like, there's snow in Houston. What is going on? And there's snow in Georgia. There's snow everywhere. It's cold everywhere. So here we are. The internet's working.
Ohio State won the national championship and hell froze over.
Yeah. Oh well. But today we'll be talking about the Sub-Saharan Africa, the Oceania, the MENA, and the North American Open number 1. And we have a little bit of news to talk about for Open number 2 after that. So all of the RLCS Major 1, Open 1 concluded this weekend. And we have a little bit of a weekend off. CRL Open number 2 will be happening this weekend. And then we will get back into RLCS action the weekend after that with quals for EU, SAM, APAC, and I think that's it. Yeah. So just a little bit of Rocket League to talk about. That doesn't make it any less exciting. But first and foremost, let's start with SSA. So out of SSA, the teams that we have making the top 8, qualifying through the upper bracket, or qualifying through into the upper bracket and having, that second life that we've talked about, is Limitless, Cosmico Esports, Maestros del Esferico, dOeS Chief, Ball Eater, Gene 6, Hey with Riz, and Mustu Fluck. So from there, we have our top 4 of Limitless versus Hey with Riz, and Maestros versus Ball Eater. And Maestros are able to make it to the finals to set up a date with Limitless, in which they are able to sweep Limitless. Limitless scored 1 goal all series, and they lose 2-1, 5-0, 4-0, 1-0. So not a fantastic showing for Limitless. Great for them to get top 2, but I would like it noted that Hey with Riz, Ball Eaters, Maestros, and Limitless, of them, Limitless is the only SSA team, the only one with SSA players on it. Mustu Flick also not in there. Cosmico is an SSA team, as is Gene 6, but not a whole lot outside of that for SSA representation here. So it's about what we expected. Another EU spot has happened here for the major so far, at least, as it looks like Maestros are in that top spot for the major right now. That is VK Salen's team. So notably, someone who wanted to farm the region and make an RLCS major from every region, and he's certainly on his way to doing that here.
Yeah, I will say, although obviously not the biggest fan of the whole quote unquote invading a region, but they did. All 3 of those players did travel to South Africa, and were playing out of a facility in South Africa. Just to make that clear, they did, after Swiss stage, I think they all traveled down there to a facility, some LAN facility, and were playing the rest of the bracket stage out of that LAN facility together. So they were technically in region. So it makes it a little better. At the same time, we can turn our eyes over to APAC if we wanted and kind of do the same, they're
the invaders.
The invaders, if we want to call it that, Tho, Asilion, Maxiu, and their North American coach Trill. Not a single APAC region player really there. I unfortunately, with how the rules are, this is just the reality we have to accept. It is up to those regions at this point to try to continue to progress and build better teams and get better. And until Epic decides that, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this and we should go back to the 2/3 rule, it's just the reality we're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I'd also like it noted that dOeS Chief forfeited their lower bracket quarters matchup against Hey with Riz. And I'm not sure why the FF happened, but it's crazy to see it happening. That would have been was that a Championship Sunday match?
Let me check. That match would have been on the 18th.
Yeah, it would have been on Saturday. Yeah, you're
Saturday.
Right. But still,
I don't know what happened there.
Crazy.
Yeah. Do we know what happened with that forfeit there, or was it ever talked about at all?
I haven't heard anything or seen anything about it. If it did, there's no note about it on the Wikipedia page or anything. It just says that they
just as FF.
Just as FF, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they have their reasons.
Yeah. Is Quilly there?
I am here. You're just stuck staring at my frozen face.
Oh, that's fine.
He's just staring
very
longingly at KQ.
Yeah, very, very perplexing face.
I'm just enjoying the view.
Yeah. Well, anything else that you guys want to talk about for SSA?
Limitless to the moon, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I kind of hope I still hope that they get the region spot, so they have 2 more regionals to kind of figure it out and to go from there. But It's kind of looking like the way that they put the beat down on Limitless. It's kind of looking like they might be the 5th EU team headed
Yeah.
to or maybe
I will
6th.
say-
It depends on who qualifies
Yeah.
first.
I would say Limitless. Snowy looked phenomenal, but if that is how they're going to continue to play against Maestros, it's not going to get better. this Limitless team needs to figure it out. Maybe Maestros was just feeling one, and they were just on one, but it did not look promising for Sub-Saharan Africa.
It certainly did not. Quilly, anything you want to add before we move on?
I'm all good. Busy trying to fight my camera at the moment.
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah. No, I didn't really pay much attention to the SSA. I was more tuned into the other ones, if I could.
Fair. Okay, well, moving across the smaller ocean, we're heading over to OCE, and our teams making the top 8 into uppers are Wild Card, which is the team of Fever, Torsas, and Banana Head. We have TSM, which is Amphis, Superlocky, Kaka. We have the Chiefs, which is Hunter, Fiber, and Region Transfer Raziers. And we have Team Power, which is Shores, Scrub, and Gus. And then headed into lower bracket, we have I Love Strawbee. We have Antic, Exodium. We have Oi Oi, and we have Walk-In Fridge. I'm here for Walk-In Fridge. That's such a good name. But from there, we have Wild Card sweeping TSM and Chiefs taking down Power in 7 to move into our semifinals. We have Power and TSM making a lower bracket run, getting back to the semifinals, where we have Chiefs taking down TSM 4-2, and we have Wild Card taking out Power 4-2. Subsequently, in the finals, we have Wild Card defeating Chiefs 4-1 and becoming your Open 1 champions for OCE. It kind of seems to me that we have a very clear-cut top 4 in OCE, considering the teams that all 4 teams we saw in the upper bracket quarters were all 4 of the teams we saw in the semifinals. But seems to be 2 teams are standing above the rest here in Chiefs and Wildcard.
Yeah, and I mean, Banana Head continues his dominance in Oceania. Not really surprised there. That wildcard team is a terrifying team, and I don't know if wildcard is considered an actual org or not.
I believe it is. Yeah, it's a United States org.
Oh, it is.
Formerly Wildcard Gaming is an American esports organization currently hosting an Australian Rocket League team.
Okay, well, Wildcard, you guys got a pretty good team. I could see Wildcard will most likely be the one coming out of Oceania. The 2 I think will be a big toss up, but it will most likely be Chiefs as long as they continue in their form.
Certainly seems that way. But not a lot of mind-blowing or surprising results here. Kind of the 4 that you expected to do the best were the 4 that did do the best, and then I quite frankly thought that Chiefs was going to win. So hats off to Wildcard, and Banana Head continues his dominance like you mentioned. But
I will keep being a Banana Head believer forever. But it's also it's a good boat to be on, because he's obviously clearly the best in all of OCE.
Yeah, he certainly continues to find his way to majors. So, not for nothing. And we saw, at the World Championships, we saw potentially the best performance ever from OCE as a whole region, with both OCE teams being able to beat, it was then Gen G. But, they had a great showing, even if Kaka fell walking up the stairs. But a great showing from them, and hopefully they can build off of this. I really think that the addition of Raziers to Chiefs will help them in the long run. Maybe they didn't necessarily get ramped up right away, but I think that this could be, kind of one of the keys to OCE being more competitive on the world stage. So we will have to wait and see on that one, but I'm excited nonetheless to see where these teams head off, and if it is Chiefs and Wildcard that will be headed to Birmingham. Next, we got MENA. Little bit of an interesting little bit of an interesting road here. We have what everyone assumed would be the top two teams in Twisted Minds and Falcons meeting in the upper bracket finals in Group A, and Twisted Minds are able to take that series 3-2, which put them into a higher seed in the playoffs. So our top 8 teams, the 4 that are qualified into uppers, are Twisted Minds, Team X, El Kadsaya, and Team Falcons. And into lowers, we have BOV, Awa Awa, MTS, and Sleeping, which set up a semifinals match between Team Falcons and Team X, and Twisted Minds and El Kadsaya. Falcons sweep Team X. Twisted Minds take down their opponent 4-2 to set up a rematch of the Group A finals. And in this grand finals, when it matters the most, Team Falcons are able to take down Twisted Minds 4-2. So Twisted Minds take game 1. Falcons rattle off 3 straight. Twisted Minds are able to take 1 back, and then Falcons wrap up the series in 6. So a win for them. They continue their dominance in MENA, but it was a lot closer than I thought. What do you guys think?
I was surprised I got the one in the first matchup, so I was very curious to see what would have happened in the second matchup. And Falcons just did Falcons things and dominated like you expected.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Twisted Minds, Falcons the entire year. I don't see any team getting remotely close to touching them as the 1 and 2. I think we could definitely see Falcons fall into a lull eventually, and maybe Twisted Minds takes a regional over them. But again, the Falcons are going to fly high, and they will most likely dominate.
I mean, it shows, at least for me, that, based on how handily these teams were able to handle business against the, teams that weren't Falcons or Twisted Minds, it certainly seems like these are going to be your 2 teams out of MENA that are going to be representing the region at Majors and at Worlds, unless something drastic changes. But, they both looked good, they both handled business, and they both beat the teams that they were supposed to beat. So I think this will be a pretty big rivalry throughout the season, and I can't wait to see what happens in Open number 2.
I will say, every time I tuned in to see what Awa was doing, they were usually getting absolutely dumpstered. It was very sad to see. I had so much faith purely based off the name.
Yeah, I mean, they got swept by Team X, but they were able to beat BOV in the lower bracket round 1, and a couple more forfeits in group stages. Lore forfeits their lower bracket quarterfinal match, and I don't, you make it that far, why are you forfeiting? So who knows? But I guess we'll have to wait to see if that gets sorted out in the next event. Anything else you guys want to add on SSA, OCE, or MENA before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this episode, the NA?
Let's get to it.
Okay. Well,
actually, I don't want to talk about NA. I did not have fun at the end of it.
I do.
So in NA, we will go over the results, and then we will talk about our thoughts and our talking points after that. So our teams making the top 8 through the upper bracket, we have Space Station, The Ultimates, Complexity, and Deleted Gaming. And through the lower brackets, we have NRG, Team Evo, 9 Lives, and Genji Mobile 1 Racing. We then have Space Station taking down the Ultimates in 7, Complexity taking down Deleted in 5 to make it to the semifinals.
Oh. No, K-Cube, come back. He was gone too soon. Oh, look at the face he froze on, too. That is... Oh. He's back.
We back.
Yeah, he's back.
There we go.
Got to write down the time so I can edit that out. In the audio episode at least. But and then in the lower brackets we have NRG taking down Team Evo 4-1 and 9 Lives taking out Genji in Game 7. From there, this sets up a lower bracket quarterfinals matchup between the Ultimates and NRG. NRG are able to win in 6, and 9 Lives are able to take down Deleted in 7, which sets up our top 4 of Complexity versus NRG and Space Station versus 9 Lives. NRG are able to sweep Complexity, looking incredibly dominant in the process, and Space Station are able to take down 9 Lives 4-1 to make their first grand finals in their first regional of the year. We then have NRG and Space Station in the grand finals. NRG are able to take game 1. Space Station then takes the next 3. Then NRG takes the final 3 to win in 7 and are able to take their first open win of the season.
Well, I think pLaY's camera froze again.
It hasn't been on. I unplugged it. I gave up hope on it.
It's just a beautiful picture then we got there for you.
Yeah, it's just a picture.
You're just gonna stare at my blank face. It's nice quality, at least.
It is.
Yeah, actually have it turned off strategically because I'm crying being reminded about SSG's.
I was like, man, I wanted to see the reaction. Damn it.
Absolute sadness watching that. I was out and I had my phone on the whole time, cheering up 3-1. And I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And then for some reason, they lose game 6 or game 5, and they go, let's call a timeout. Or it was game 6. Game 6, they lose game 6, and they go, let's call a timeout. Then they lose again. 3-3 series. No timeout. I feel like that's a perfect time for a timeout. Maybe then. Because I feel like even 3-2, you're not sweating it too much. It's only one game. You still just got to win one more. I think they called it a little early. Led to their demise. But still got a lot more to talk about. That happened before that.
I mean, it was so the games are 2-1 NRG, 1-0 Space Station, 3-0 Space Station, 2-1 Space Station. Space Station calls or NRG calls a timeout. They then win 5-1. That I feel like you've lost your momentum. That's a lot of goals to give up. So Space Station take their timeout. They then lose 2-0 and then 5-0. So yeah. It certainly seems like they were. NRG just realized, wait a minute, we're NRG, let's just win this.
Yeah, I think SSG was more afraid of what was said by Sathu in that timeout than they were of the actual roster. Because obviously whatever was said clicked immensely for that team, and it would look like a completely different energy for the last 3 games. And I think that timeout was purely just trying to combat that, to hopefully get a way to figure out a new strategy. But unfortunately, a timeout for you is a timeout for them. And I think Sathu just came out on top here. I would love to hear what was said. In all honesty, I would have loved to hear what was said, because NRG did not deserve to win that series up until that game 5.
Until they did.
Until they did.
I imagine most of the.
Oh,
Quilly?
Oh no, you're back. You're back.
I imagine most of the timeout was him looking at them and going, "Hey, what's your name? Daniel? Oh yeah, remember that. Beast mode. What's your name? Oh yeah, beast mode. Play like that." And then I feel like that's pretty much what it was, because the tides turned. It pretty much. I know that game 6 was a little bit closer, but game 7.
You had. What series was it? That's the Energy Space Station series where they had the beast mode pinch and net up to a pre-jumped atomic, tipping it. Oh no, a pre-jumped Daniel to a pre-jumped atomic to score like an OT or something.
I think that was that.
Was that series? I can't remember which series that was from, but I remember seeing that and I was just like, oh my god, what is this team?
Yeah, it was sad for me to see. It was insane. They literally just started peaking.
Let's see if I can find it, because oh my god, it was.
I mean, it was a crazy series. So, Space Station have 62 shots and NRG with 66. NRG has 28 demos. Space Station has 26. 37 saves to NRG, 26 or 43 saves for Space Station. So, definitely down the stretch, NRG had their number. They kind of figured it out. They kind of, righted the ship, so to speak. And that's really, all it took for them to kind of figure it out. But, I mean, what a lower bracket run from NRG, right? So like you see them lose to Gen G after losing to Space Station, and you're like, oh, like what's going on? Like how is this? Or no, sorry, they beat Gen G after losing to Space Station in the upper brackets, and you're like, what is this going to look like? How are they going to be able to run? And then the Ultimates lose, and you're like, oh man, this is really going to be a gauntlet for them to run, and they're able to do it. They drop 3 games in lower bracket round 1, quarterfinals, and semifinals in a trip to the grand finals, and I really just I feel like I'm saying a lot of nice things about NRG, but like they just played fantastically.
I did figure out it was the Ultimates series when they had the goal line pinch into pre-jump OT win. But yeah, I NRG, can you not make it that hard every time, please? Good
They
lord.
just wanted to play extra Rocket League.
Not only did you go to lower bracket round 1, but you arguably got the hardest side of the bracket facing for the Ultimates and a complexity team who at the time was vying for a top 2 spot in NA. I at that point in time with that complexity roster, I believe they were top 2 because they looked impressive. They were destroying a Swiss stage. They destroyed in their group stage. They murdered deleted gaming. Like, it wasn't even close. I mean, they looked like a terrifying team, and the NRG comes in and wins 2-0, 2-1, 3-2, 2-0. Doesn't give up a single game. Like, maybe let's not have day 1 and 2 Swiss and group stage look as absolutely horrid as it did. But can we just start good?
Yeah.
At least.
At least they finished well.
Yeah, they finished fantastically. But I'm a little concerned for how they'll perform against EU. But yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
So, Quilly, this is more directed at you as the SSG stan. SSG is a very young team, right? This is their second season, competing. Not second full season, but second season, right? They're all very young players. Do you think maybe some inexperience comes into play here in that grand finals match?
definitely. But I mean, it's hard to say that with the insane run that they went on to start that. They went literally undefeated prior to that on the day and the day prior. They were taking down all of the top dogs you could name. Anyone that was thrown at them, they were handing them the business. Frosty was showing why he was why he's one of the best in all of NA at such
why he got picked up by NRG for like a week.
Yeah, and then dropped. But I think obviously him being on his own and not being there anymore, giving him his time to shine. I think SSG made a great pickup with picking up the entire Snowman roster. But it was truly impressive to see these young kids just absolutely shock the world and take down literally everyone that was thrown at them.
Yeah.
The first time they took down NRG was impressive. I didn't think they'd be able to do it again. And then being up 3-1, I was like, oh my God, they might do it again. And then, as we all know,
in fact, did not do it again.
They didn't do it again. Yeah, Frosty looked insane. The team, I think the reason why they played so well, I feel like they play similar to Furia. They play the same as the SAM region's speed. They are on top of everything. They're moving quick. They're not letting you breathe. They're just moving and they're on top of it. And they're doing it together as a team. And I feel like it's similar to how Furia plays. And I feel like that's going to benefit them in the long run because NA struggles with Furia and the speed. And especially Zen does. Number 1 enemy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like part of it, and I'm very intrigued to see how Space Station can do in Open number 2, because a lot of people, like, at least for me, I didn't have like much expectations for SSG. Not because I didn't think they were good, but like, we saw them make a top 4 last season. We also saw them crash out in top 16, right? Like, so which snowmen were you going to get? Are they going to be benefited by, having the organizational stability that Space Station can provide, the coaching, the all of the things that come with that. And it certainly looked like they did. They looked way more even keel. They They looked very consistent throughout the day. Ultimately, I still think NRG is, top 2, top 3 team potentially in the world. And I think it shows in the end of that grand finals, but I can't say enough good things about how Space Station played. I'm very intrigued, like now that they have like the light on them, so to speak. If Space Station can continue their run and continue to look as good as they did, but certainly a fantastic run for Space Station.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see how they perform if they make it. Well, assuming if they keep playing like this, they're going to make it to 1. But how they will play at a LAN with a crowd watching them.
Yeah. Agreed, especially as one of the youngest teams in RLCS.
I think the youth will be good or bad. It's either going to go one way or the other. Either they're going to be youthfully ignorant and just have fun and dominate, or absolutely terrified of the moment.
Yeah, that is fair.
It's just so crazy that they literally have a 15-year-old on their team.
Yeah. But on the other end of the spectrum from Space Station, in my opinion, we have Deleted. Deleted Gaming make a top 6, and I'm going back and looking at their path to qualification, and in Group A they play Verstland, which is Hazo, Jazzy, and Pizzy, the St. Clair Saints roster. They then play Omelette, which is Lion Blaze, Percy's, and Neil. And they lose to Space Station, but because their upper bracket final appearance, they're able to qualify through the upper bracket. They are then, dispatched very quickly by Complexity, only winning, 1 game after their timeout, and then dropping down and losing in Game 7 to 9 Lives, who were then quickly handled by Space Station. So, what started as a very promising weekend for Deleted, I think it kind of showed really where they lie, maybe a fringy top 8 team, in my opinion. I think that they just got very fortunate with the bracket draw that they had. What do you guys think?
With Deleted?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely tough bracket draw. But I mean, other teams didn't have as much of a struggle with it, so you really got to question it. And also, Roll Diz, this is his first time coaching?
No. He coached the FaZe roster that made a major final in San Diego.
That was how long ago though?
Yep, that's a fair point.
But obviously him going from the booth back down to coaching, I think it's gonna gotta get some rust off, gotta figure out how the game's evolving. So I think with time they'll get better, but definitely not a good start to be handed the lineup of teams I had to go against.
Yeah, I mean, I think that their bracket playoff draw was unfortunate, but I think that their group was super easy.
Yes, for the teams that were in their group, they got the easiest draw.
Yeah, and I hate calling it a Mickey run because like you can only play the games that like you are drawn, but like that's the easiest run of any of the routes of any of the groups, in my personal opinion. But we the last 2 talking points that I want to go to, I'll leave one of them for last because I think it's kind of funny. But the next one that I have is Gen G good enough to compete for a top 4? Is Captain America and Reddles, are they able to compete for top 4s, or do you think that they're on the outside looking in?
First things first, there's only one Captain America. That's Garrett G.
He's retired.
Well,
forever and always.
He's retired, but he did compete against his own org, so
he did do that, and they got swept 7-0, 3-1, 4-0.
Yeah, it's definitely brutal. But it was fun. It was hopeful.
It was some memes. It was for the content, as you will.
Yeah.
I'll let Red talk about Gen G though, because I don't have nice things to say about him.
I will say I think Gen G, I think Space Station passed off their curse onto Gen G, and the draws they got, because I think if you look at strength of schedule, Gen G probably got the hardest strength of schedule possible. You go into group stage, and your first match, upper bracket quarters, you're like, I go 3-0 Swiss. Woo! Who we got? NRG. Oh, okay. Then you lose, and you face a strictly business team who, at the time, had beat NRG and had also beaten Space Station. The teams that both teams that made grand finals. You beat them, then you face an omelet team, which you actually do worse against. But hey, you make it, and then guess what? You face NRG again. So okay, all right, whatever, cool. So then we go, all right, where do we get put in playoffs? Who do we face? 9 Lives, who is also a team that could be argued for that top 4. I feel like there's still Gen.G's still in that contention for that top 4. That series was fantastic. Watching 9 Lives NG, I mean, it went back and forth, and unfortunately, just Gen.G could not finish it out. They gave up so many last-second goals that just kind of ended that run there. I think with a little more work, a little more shine and polish for this Gen.G roster, they could easily compete for that top 4 spot. I think the team that I want to question the most is this Complexity roster, because was that a fluke? Was that a one-time thing, or are they truly that good? They were probably under a lot of people's radars coming into Open 1, and they came out guns a-blazing, being one of the best teams in the Open up until that semifinals match where they made top 4 and just get absolutely curb stomped by NRG. So a lot of weird stuff happened. I think they can be one of those top 4 teams. They would most likely, it's good. I think it'll be between Gen.G, 9 Lives deleted for that final spot. I think Complexity could, if they continue to play like they did, Complexity's got that third spot. It really just kind of depends on the teams that show up each day and the luck they have with their draws. Because obviously in this Open, Gen.G had the unluckiest draws I think possible.
Yeah. Also, RC in chat. Yeah, no. Garrett G played on Gas, which was Garrett, AJ, and Squishy. Even though he's still technically a part of NRG, he has not left the team, so he got to play against his old team in in the group stage in the lower bracket semifinal, and NRG swept him pretty good. But we kind of melded a few talking points there together, and kind of did like a roundabout. Can Gen.G make a top 4? Well, yes, they can, but they're going to have to perform better than they did here. And, especially when they're playing against people that they're directly competing against for this top 4 spot, that's like, they have to do better.
Yeah, I think Red had a good point with the struggling to finish out games. I think that they had the same effect in the World Cup. They'd hold a strong game defensively, get a little bit of pressure offense, and then just late the second half of the game, they just fall apart and just start letting in simple, shouldn't be letting goals. And also MVP Kofor, what a shout!
Yeah,
what a demon.
He looked good.
Kofor looked fantastic, and so props to him for there was I think I saw a tweet earlier. It was his first top 8 or top 4. I think it was the first top 4 since they competed against, was it Team Liquid way back in the day? I think it was close to RLCS-X. I don't remember the exact day, but it's been a long time since that man has made a top 4, so props to him for finally making his way back.
Hell yeah.
Do you think there's a good chance that they get picked up?
There's no reason they shouldn't. That 9 Lives team is fantastic. They should absolutely get picked up by an org. Cough, cough, Cloud9.
I was gonna say that 9 in the name might have been a sly play to get in the
Cloud9. But no, absolutely, I believe they should get picked up by an org. No question in that. Would love to see the Cloud9 come back. Would love to see some other old time orgs, even some new orgs too, right? Just they absolutely should deserve an org. I'm sure that's a roster too that wouldn't be too picky on contract.
I think this would be a good chance for 100 Thieves to finally jump into Rocket League.
I mean, I think so too, but people have been talking and teasing that for a while, and I just feel like the current ecosystem of Rocket League, I feel like they're just,
if they would have, they would have.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But
it ranks up there with the Twitch chat going, when does NRG play?
Yeah.
on literally any Rocket League match ever.
When does NRG play? Well, now they do play quite frequently.
Yeah, quite frequently.
If Cloud9 picks up a team, there's going to be some crazy comebacks from some old orgs.
They really would. EG, bring back EG.
Well, okay, so who is it? There was someone that just acquired Envy again. Like Envy is an org again.
Oh.
And I saw some posts about like trying to get Envy to come back to Rocket League. So that could be a potential there.
Hastro has reacquired Envy, Dallas Fuel, and Dallas Empire brands.
Yep.
That's crazy. But the last talking point that I have to mention, and I have to mention it because, you know, it may not be true for the next Open, but the Ultimates, widely considered to be, at least preseason, the number 2 or potentially number 1 team in NA, you know, a super team with, you know, LJ, Chronic, and First Killer. A lot of people had them, you know, atop NA, but they crash out against Space Station upper bracket quarters, and they instantly lose in lower bracket quarters in 6 to NRG. They did not look super convincing against NRG. I think NRG got the better of them, even though there were 2 overtime games in there. But notably, as a First Killer hater, is First Killer overrated?
I mean, do I think First Killer is still like one of the better players in North America? Yes. Does he need to figure out what's going on with his competitive career? Absolutely. I will say I think LJ kind of underperformed during this Open. You know, when watching Ultimates, you didn't really hear his name called too often. You know, is part of that being overshadowed by First Killer potentially, but that Ultimates roster should claim or have a good chance at claiming a spot in top 4. But if they play like they have been, I don't know. They're in a weird spot because they did well. They only lost to Complexity in Group B. They go on and they lose to Space Station in 7 upper back quarterfinals. So they lost to the a top 4 team. Obviously, if you want to be top 4, you're gonna have to win those games every now and then. But you know, definitely a team to keep your eye on because they could very easily fall into a category where they may not even make top 4.
I think a lot of this can also be chalked up to this is the first Open. A lot
Absolutely.
of quite literally all of these teams outside of NRG and technically SSG are new, like as a team, and technically our RMC, but the RMC was, I don't believe in them forever. But I do think Hoxer would have been a better choice of the SSG players that they took. I think Hoxer over LJ would have been a better play.
Interesting. Yeah, but yeah,
I'm a Hoxer believer.
I am too.
It is Open 1, like you said, so there's still plenty of Rocket League to be had. But with this new format, these early points mean a lot. So, you know, you don't. Although we can say there's a lot of Rocket League, you got to get these points early and quick. Otherwise, you may be looking on the outside in.
Yeah. Oh, also, I looked it up. So for First Killer, Worlds in 23, 13th to 16th. Worlds in 24, 12th to 14th. 21 Spring Major, 9th to 12th.
Bye, K-Cube.
I think First Killer DDoSed him. Took him down.
He heard the slander.
He's like, "Oh, you want to talk about my stats?" Booted. We're back.
He's back.
I'm back. But notably, the winter split, the winter major in 2023, the one in San Diego, he finished second. The winter NA major in RLCS Season X, which is a little bit different, he finished second. But third to fourth 5th, 5th to 8th, 8th, 9th to 12th, 13th to 16th. Like he does not have an international event win under his belt. They have regional wins, but arguably that doesn't really do him any good. So, does he have the talent to win events? Hell yeah, he does. Has he been underperforming, especially in international events? Also, hell yeah, he has. So, I think that there's definitely room for him. This is a fantastic team. Chronic and LJ are two extremely talented players. If they can figure it out, they will be extremely dangerous. But until then, I can't pick them. So, sorry, that was a little bit of a detour from the main topic here from Open number 1, but with them losing as quickly as they did in playoffs, I had to bring it up because notably everybody knows how much I love First Killer.
Show should be named FK Haters Anonymous.
Well, not so anonymous because we show our faces, even though some of them aren't moving faces right now.
Hey, low blow, low blow. I'm still showing my face.
That's fair. That's fair. You just have incredible stamina in staring at that one spot.
I haven't blinked in over an hour.
If you've been running a staring contest with anyone in chat, you're winning. So
they're cooked.
But did you guys have anything else that you wanted to add about the NA Open 1 or any of the other regions NA Open number 1 before we jump on to some RLCS news?
I'm all good.
All good here.
Okay. So it was announced on Saturday, not on Sunday, which was a little bit surprising, that RLCS Major number 2 will be returning to the United States, taking place in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Lenovo Center. That will happen on June 26th through 29th, with, as far as I have understood so far, 2 days that will be closed to the public and 2 in-person crowd days, that being Saturday and Sunday, the 28th and the 29th, open to the public. But at least, I'll speak for myself on this one. I know that we are planning on going. So, Red is somewhat geographically close to that, and it's a lot closer than Birmingham. So a little bit more cost efficient for us to make it. So I as far as I know, we will be there in person, and we hope to see all you there as well.
So it's 2 closed days and then 2 open?
Per my understanding so far, yes. So the Thursday, Friday will be closed to the public. If we are granted the same kind of access that we were at the World Championships, then we will also be allowed at the closed days. But, I can't say for sure yet because I'm not sure what kind of facilities or access we will be granted yet. So we will have to wait and see on that one. But, I'm excited to go see some more in-person Rocket League, and I'm excited to see what teams will be represented there.
Can't argue with in-person cardball.
Yeah, no. It never disappoints. Well, almost never.
Almost.
Rest in peace, Gen G. Or not Gen G, G2.
Yeah. And when does NRG play?
Finally have the answer.
Also, RC in chat, 8-hour drive to Raleigh. I definitely would say, it's kind of a long drive, but going to an in-person event, well worth it. It's always such a great time. Getting to see friends that you don't always get to see, but that I play with online is a fantastic. It's a fantastic excuse to do that, and just the atmosphere, the Rocket League, the event as a whole. Blast has done a fantastic job, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that if you can make the trip, that you do. But did either of you guys have anything else? Oh, go ahead.
Once you make your first trip, you will be hooked forever.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me.
I've been to every NA event since San Diego, the 2023 Winter Major. Everyone that's in the U.S. Sorry.
Oh, I got you beat. I've been to everyone since L.A.
Yeah, you do have me beat.
Just by one? By one?
That's the one. Florida was the one before that.
They didn't do
I
Florida.
did not get to go to Florida. Did
Wait,
not get to do
Did
Florida.
they? When did they do? Yeah, they did. You're right. Because there was L.A. They did New Jersey.
That was the one I didn't go to.
Yeah.
They did New Jersey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Picked a bad time to finally tune in. I
Yeah,
should have been there. I
They
should've paid
did.
attention
They,
then.
yeah, they did Newark.
Oh, Prudential Center. I'm assuming.
Yep.
I'm assuming they do lower. They're doing lower bowl for the majors, right? I assume they close off the upper bowl. So I think filling that arena might be tough for a major.
We'll have to see. I don't know. Actually, let me check. I had the website pulled up for tickets. Yeah, they're only selling tickets for the lower bowl.
Yeah,
And then the second level.
Yeah, the Lenovo Center seats 18,700 for ice hockey, 19,500 for basketball, and they have luxury boxes and all that kind of stuff. So it certainly seems like it's going to be a lower bowl for this event. It certainly seems like there's going to be opportunities for like VIP and stuff like that to have like luxury boxes, and it kind of seems like we at the press will have like a press booth similar to maybe how we did at in Boston, which would be awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights. But that's my way of saying if you're gonna go, make sure to get your tickets early.
Pre-sale has already started.
Oh,
Yep.
dang! Get on top of that. We're gonna be hopefully optimistic. I get my access.
Yeah. So they tweeted signups for open too. Pre-sale for the Raleigh Major is now live. Use code PIANO for access on Ticketmaster. That was tweeted on January 20th. So you are able to get your pre-sale tickets for the Raleigh Major, and I would venture to guess that they're not going to sell out of tickets. But
Fortunately,
that is just my guess. Some tickets are better than others. I totally understand that and grant that, but it's an 18,000 seat stadium. I find it kind of hard to believe that they're gonna get 18,000 people to buy tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. That would be awesome.
Well, assuming they're doing only lower bowl, it's probably only going to be about 10 to 12, maybe
Something like that.
15 max. I don't really know how the seating things work. I think they just like make up a number when they say how many people fit in an arena.
Fair. But was there anything else that you guys wanted to add about RLCS, about any of the Open One stuff before we wrap up for today?
All good here.
Looking forward to Carball.
Oh, yeah. Well, with that, we'd like to thank you all so much for listening. We'd like to please remind you to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, share the show, tell a friend. It all helps us grow our audience and improve the show. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. I was going to remove this TikTok, but it was gone. Now it's back. Maybe it's back for good. Who knows? But TikTok and Twitch, which we are currently live streaming on right now. Also, feel free to come join our Discord, come talk to us, come play some Rocket League with us. Please make sure you support us by checking out our merch store and our Patreon, as this is how we will be funding the show and doing giveaways in the future. Potentially some merch giveaways in person in Raleigh. Potentially some other cool things. All of these links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.